Everybody, it is Lisa from True North Homeschool Academy. I want to talk to you today about the one skill your kids need to graduate from high school with and learn to develop as they're going through high school and even beyond, and that is the art of selling. That might seem kind of crazy because in high school we're so concerned about making sure that they have math and science and history and English, all good things, all things we should take time to learn, as well as foreign language, electives, how to manage a home, budget, clean the kitchen, healthcare, all those kind of things. They're very, very important. But I want to talk to you about this idea about having your kids learn how to sell things. This is going to be more important than ever before. As you've heard me talk about before, our kids are going to work in a global gig economy. What is selling? Let's just break it down. It is the art of persuasion. And we all do this all the time. We're always persuading somebody to do something, right? No matter what our job is. If we're a teacher, we're persuading our kids to do the lessons, to do the work. What does persuasion mean? It means to convince someone, to cause them to agree with a belief or a course of action by using arguments or an earnest request. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward. We might not think of our jobs as persuading, but whether you're a teacher or a pastor or an architect or a law enforcement officer or a lawyer or a medical doctor, whatever it is you do vocationally, you are probably in the persuasion field because all of us are persuading somebody to do something all the time. And again, to persuade just means to move by argument, entreaty, or expostulation to a belief, position, or course of action. Now, I got these definitions from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, so I'm not making these up. I follow a lot of entrepreneurs, and a couple that I really like are Patrick Bet-David as well as Alex Hormozi. They're both seven-figure earners. They've done a lot of really interesting work in the field of entrepreneurship, but one of the things that they both say is that our kids really need to know how to sell. And I've heard this from so many business people that beyond just having new hires show up, which is becoming a problem, the next thing that they want them to really be able to do is to be able to sell, both on paper and verbally. So they want them to be able to talk people into things. Now, that might seem like, well, if they're going into sales, sure. But again, no matter what profession we're in, we're all selling something, right? We're all trying to persuade somebody to our way of thinking or to purchase something or to try something new or go to that restaurant. And we do this in our everyday life all the time, right? We're always sharing the books that we read or the new restaurant that we found or that great vacation spot. We're telling our friends about them because we want to share those great experiences. And we want them to be able to go have those same kind of aha moments when they read the great book, right? So again, we're always doing persuading. We just do this naturally. Some of us are more natural at it than others. But there's ways that you can train and teach your kids to learn this art of persuasion. I want to give you some ideas in case you haven't thought of them before. Because again, this is going to be so very, very important. Here's the fastest way to earn money. And you guys, you hear me talking about money in terms of college and return on your investment, but I want to kind of get you guys thinking about how you're going to set your kids up vocationally and what that means. But I want you to back into it by thinking about what kind of lifestyle your kids want to have as adults and how are they going to support that lifestyle. If you've heard me talk in person, and if you've heard my high school talk, you've heard me say this vignette. Most doctors, most MDs go into the medical field not because they have this deep compassion for people or love science so much. They go into the medical field because they had an expensive hobby that they wanted to support. And so they backwards engineered how they were going to support their very expensive hobby. It's honestly kind of brilliant. And the rest of us need to take note of that and think that through for our kids. What kind of lifestyle do they want and how are they going to support that vocationally and financially? Okay, so one of the fastest, easiest ways to make money is by sales, selling your products or selling somebody else's products. And we do that at True North all the time. We sell both our products and other people's products. We're selling ideas about how to educate your kids. We're selling educational pedagogy. We're selling a lifestyle because we really believe that education is a transmission of culture. And we want you guys to embrace that lifestyle of, wow, truth, beauty, and goodness, because it's a beautiful way to educate your kids. So how do you teach your kids the art of persuasion, or how to sell something, right? Want to talk to you about it again today. That's what I'm here for, is to share ideas. That's what I love to do. Get you guys thinking about things and how to do it. So how do you teach your kid the art of persuasion? I want to start with some things that you might not have thought about that tie into this very, in my opinion, very closely. The first thing I would do is really give them a firm foundation academically in elementary school, and that would start with the basics, reading and writing. They need to have comprehension and computation skills right out of the chute. If they don't have those, it's going to be really hard for them to persuade anybody to do anything. They need to be truly literate. And illiteracy, you can have functional illiteracy and be at like a fifth grade reading level or fifth grade computation level, but we absolutely want our kids to be completely literate, right? That means not only being able to read the information or compute the numbers, but to be able to like think through it and around it and be able to compute a couple different ways and to be able to do some lit analysis and stuff like that. So that your kids need really basic, good foundational skills. And that would start with reading, writing, and arithmetic. And then as they move into elementary school, one of the things that I think is super important is have your kids start studying logic. You might not have thought about that in terms of persuasion or teaching your kids how to sell, but formal and informal logic are great ways to understand the art of persuasion. Now, I'd start with informal logic and fallacies and then move into formal logic and syllogisms. And there's math logic, there's symbolic logic, and there's not math and then symbolic. There's math/symbolic and literary logic. And I would encourage you to do both, but start with informal and then work into formal. Formal is syllogisms and if-then statements and those kind of things. And why do I say that? Because to really be able to argue well and to persuade people well, you need to have a logical argument. Now, if you're on social media for any length of time, you might think, not really, I don't really need to be able to think well to just gather people to my way of thinking. But honestly, really, we want to have well-formed arguments. Again, this idea of truth, beauty, and goodness. And really, good writing and good speaking comes from good thinking. Always. If you are an excellent writer, it's because you have trained your brain to think really well. Same for speaking. So behind all of that is logic. So we want our kids to understand informal logic and formal logic. Along with that goes math. So teaching your kids math is a way of teaching them to think really well, which leads to being able to persuade really well. Because to be able to persuade, it doesn't mean just telling people, think this way and bashing them into this way of thinking. It means understanding why they don't naturally go to that way of thinking and how to work your way around it. That's really what's really cool about math, is it teaches you how to do that. And somebody's asking, what's the appropriate developmental stage to introduce informal logic? I would say, honestly, even fifth grade. The fallacy detective is a great way to start introducing informal logic, and kids love fallacies, right? One of the bad things about teaching your kids fallacies is they're going to pick out all of yours and point them out to you. But I think fifth grade up is a great place to start with informal logic, and you can go through junior high. I like perplexers too because they teach deductive reasoning. You can buy those from Mindware. So math is also, along with informal and formal logic, math is also a really great way to teach your kids how to think really well and see different ways of computing and getting to the correct answer. The other thing I think is so very critical is teaching our kids how to write really, really well. Because again, to be able to write well, you have to think well. Now, we use IEW for our elementary classes, and we love IEW. I was a vendor for IEW. I know Andrew Pudawa personally. He's come and done several summits for us and that kind of thing. We have a great working relationship. IEW is a fantastic program. Does it teach your kids to write formulaically? Initially, yes, because there is good writing. And so if we're going to teach our kids good writing, we need to teach them that structure of writing. But it doesn't stay there. It teaches them how to do nuance and add in fun things and stylistic techniques. We have great IAW certified teachers that teach our IAW classes, and then we start using the lost tools of writing. We do teach persuasive essay writing in the junior high classes. Julia Jinks teaches those, junior high US Lit and Comp and junior high World Lit and Comp, both focus on a persuasive essay. I like that persuasive essay program from Lost Tools of Writing for this reason. It teaches, if you have a kid who's really confident with writing, it teaches them so many nuances of an essay. It teaches them the exordium. It teaches them a refutation. It teaches them things they might not have thought about. And one of the powerful things about a refutation is you say, I understand that you want your kids to be persuasive writers, but on the other hand, there's people who don't care. And then you address the people who don't care. And that's a form of getting your audience turned around to understand why they should do what you're suggesting they do. And you're so welcome about that. I hope it's helpful to me. If you find other things about informal logic, I'd love to hear about them, but I will list some resources when I'm done with the live. So good writing program is going to be a really great way to teach your kids persuasive thinking and writing and speaking, and it's going to teach them how to sell stuff. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Okay. And then we have so many high school level writing classes that really do hone in on how to write really well, how to persuade, and all those kind of things. The other thing I want to really suggest to you is really get your science curriculum honed down. Really get your science program, because your science program is going to also teach your kids to critically think, and it's going to help them learn how to persuade better and sell things. That sounds kind of corny, but listen, it's critical thinking. And the other thing with science is it teaches them if this, then that. It teaches them hypothesis, truth, fact, all those kind of things. And one of the things we're seeing so much on social media is people put forth an idea and they don't have any backing, they don't have any research. One of my young adult children has actually been told by somebody her age, that's a bad fact. Not it's a bad survey or a bad stat. They just didn't like the fact, so they discounted it with an adjective. And if you're doing science, if you're really doing science and understand the scientific method like we teach at True North Homeschool Academy from elementary through high school, you're going to understand the difference between hypothesis and a fact. Okay? And you don't want to argue with everybody. I mean, I'm not saying so we're armed with these things so we should go and argue with everybody. That's not my point. My point is we want to teach our kids this act of persuasion and this act of selling. Those kids who are going to grow up and be standing on both feet firmly for truth, they need to be armed well because we are in this time of, again, I say it every time I get on a Facebook Live, we're in a time of societal disruption. We're now a global community, and so our kids are going to have a lot of different ideas coming their way, and we need to prepare our kids well for this. And I don't say this in a way of like, be afraid, be very afraid. That's not my point. I don't think we should be afraid. I think we should be equipped. But our kids are going to be going into battle, an intellectual battle, a societal battle for sure, and equipping them with the ability to persuade and to understand that fact from fiction is not only going to keep them firmly planted in truth, but it's going to help them be able to invite others into what's real, what's true, what's beautiful, what's good. And all of us who have who have gone from a place of not being there to a place of living for truth, beauty, and goodness know what a great gift it is to be invited into something better than what we left, right? So you guys, academics, I don't think it has to be character or academics. I think it's both and. We develop a lot of character by academics. I'm not saying drown your kid in academics. I'm not saying beat them over the head with it. We believe in the Goldilocks principle where your kids have like one step beyond what's really comfortable for them, right? And so they have to work out for it a little bit. They have to want it. Like friction can be really good. It doesn't have to be easy for your kids. In fact, a lot of our kids who are bored and unmotivated, it's because they don't have enough friction and enough challenge. And again, it should be appropriate. I'm not trying to say go beat them with a stick, nothing like that. I'm saying they need challenge. And sometimes academics can be the challenge that they need. So if you're looking for a great academic program, True North Homeschool Academy is the place for you. We have an international community. We have world-class teachers. I mean, our teachers are the best. We've been having teacher meetings this spring and doing a lot of training and conversations in our Facebook group for the teachers. And honestly, I love each and every one of them. They are so talented. They are so committed to equipping our students and helping them go places and do things. One of our students actually just won a writing award. One of our students actually just won an internship in Germany. So these were all opportunities brought to their attention by our teachers. So if you're looking for an amazing opportunity and curriculum for your kids, we're here for you. Somebody's saying, when does registration open for elementary families, for new families? We've been open. So if you're looking for classes, you can enroll today. I'd encourage you to. Some of the classes are going to fill fast, so don't wait till March or April. Any of the science classes, any of the 8th and 9th grade classes, those fill very quickly. So informal logic, Spanish 1, the sciences, and writing classes usually fill pretty quickly. Elementary classes, oh my gosh, we've got some really fun ones this year. We've got Spanish and French as usual for elementary kids. We've got a new science writing class for kids that's going to pair very, very nicely with Laura Nolet's Science Exploration A and B. They do science experiments every single week, so that science writing class will pair very beautifully with that. We've got Dana Hanley's expedition classes. I think this fall she's going to be doing oceans again. She's been doing a cycle, and we're back to the first year cycle. So it's been a 3-year cycle. Every semester she offers another expedition class. These are phenomenal, like unit studies on steroids classes. These kids, they stay in this class and they just sign up for the next one. They're so much fun. And Dana's also teaching, I think, ancient history this year for elementary kids. So we've got a great lineup for your elementary kids, and of course we've got other writing classes. Then we start math at 5th grade, and we use the award-winning CTC math coupled with live online once-a-week instruction. So you get the best of both worlds. It's a very unique blended learning program. I don't think anybody else who's offering CTC uses it in this way, and the cost of CTC is included in the price of the class. So if you have any questions, don't forget to check out the bundle packages. You can purchase a 3 or 6 class bundle, and you can use that for the siblings in your home. And you know, you can have like one kid take 1 class and another kid take 2 or 3 classes, and the bundle pricing is less than a la carte class. But we get this question all the time: can I just take 1 class? Absolutely. You can take an a la carte class, you can do a bundle, you can share the bundle with your kids. We know as homeschoolers, you really value your freedom and you want to have this amazing, unique life for your kids. We totally value that and want to support you in that. So we give you as many opportunities to just use our program in the way that fits and suits your family. Okay, you guys, I'll be back with another video sometime soon. I hope you guys are doing well. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. You can head on over to the website at truenorthhomeschool.academy, go on over to Instagram or YouTube, and be sure to join our Facebook groups. And if you're not on the mailing list, make sure you sign up for the mailing list. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.